Watch this.
A local nonprofit helping victims of sex trafficking might need some help of its own after the federal government announced it is looking into allegations of Medicaid fraud. The founder has something to say about it. Flags represent a lot of things to a lot of different people, but one Idahoan is using the symbol to help support people around the country after her family needed some support of its own. Idaho lost a true trailblazer yesterday. So today, we're remembering Elaine McCallie, the Gem State's first female commercial pilot and one of our oldest Idahoans. Monsoonal moisture, not just the name of my former fantasy football team, but also a weather phenomenon that rolls into southern Idaho this time of year. So I guess it's raining outside right now, so we're going to get right over to Rick. Rick, what is happening?
It's not raining here on Fairview Avenue, but of course we do have some rain showers around the area, some heavier rain showers, especially to our west. Maybe you've seen a lightning strike, possibility of some strong gusty winds around the area. Let me show you what's going on. 26% in Boise. This is the humidity in Mountain Home at 44%, 52 in Twin Falls, which is showing you most of this moisture and the heat that's involved with this is actually coming up from the southwest and is just to the east of us. If you look at Mountain Home, it's covered with thunderstorms right now. Down here toward Twin Falls, they had thunderstorms earlier. Thunderstorms came up to the Boise area, and if you have a look at this, you'll see that out here to the northwest, there's still more storms that are starting to push up here from the southwest. It's all part of this moisture coming down into Utah, as well as portions of Colorado. And so as it comes up from the southwest tonight, I don't think we're going to see a line of this sort of thing. We haven't seen it at all, but every now and then a few clusters come together of some thunderstorms that move through. So I think you'll be seeing scattered thunderstorms for the most part tonight. How long is it going to last? Well, it's going to last probably about 9 o'clock this evening. I figure that these storms are pretty much a part of daytime heating. So as the sun starts to go down, it's going to make a change. If you look at some of the wind gusts already, 43 in Boise, 52 in Mountain Home. So some strong gusty winds with those storms they're getting right now, and 30 miles an hour in Twin Falls. Be careful.
They remain the only nonprofit offering safe houses in Idaho for adult sex trafficking survivors. But they now face a federal investigation over allegations of Medicaid fraud. When Idaho Community Outreach Behavioral Services, or Idaho COBBS, was formed in 2014, they relied completely on donations to provide services and resources to victims of sex trafficking. Then last fall, the nonprofit decided to dip into some available state and federal funding to help them pay for their expanding staff who operate the safe houses COBBS began opening in 2020. They currently have 3 in the Treasure Valley, and they have provided housing for more than 100 women over that time. However, it's those houses and those who work there that have gotten Idaho COBBS into the situation and the investigation they are in today. A few former residents and employees claim COBBS management uses manipulating and controlling tactics. They told their stories to Investigate West, another nonprofit, an investigative media company based in Seattle, who published a 5-part series. The tactics, well, those are one thing, but when they revealed the Medicaid fraud allegations, that's when the feds got involved. And Aspen Shumpert spoke with Idaho COBBS today about those allegations. Aspen?
Brian, the investigation has to do with the billing between COBBS and the for-profit company offering mental health services. The leader of the Idaho COBBS told me today they strongly encourage counseling for women living in the safe houses. Director Paula Bartholomew says Idaho COBBS sends their clients to a variety of clinics for treatment, but Advanced Clinic Trauma Services, also known as ACTS, is the clinic it uses for their mental health services, and the clinic is owned by Bartholomew's son, Tyler Bell. Bartholomew says she worked as a consultant and helped start it. She says Idaho COBBS continues to send a majority of their women to ACTS because they feel their therapists and case managers are well versed in treating victims and survivors of sex trafficking.
For us, we have very clear lines, we have very clear policies, we keep everything very separate. I've stepped clear out of being a consultant, right? We've made our things there. We were grassroots. Was it probably messed up a little bit to begin with and trying to separate it all out? It probably was in the beginning.
Bartholomew says about 85% of the women living in the houses receive services at ACTS, and she doesn't see it as a conflict of interest or unethical because Idaho COBBS and ACTS are separate. But Investigate West reports former employees and clients allege the lines between the two are blurry, and Bartholomew says Bartholomew still helps operate ACTS. Women who lived in the safe house told Investigate West they were forced into counseling sessions at ACTS, and ACTS billed Medicaid for services victims never received. Former ACTS workers told Investigate West, per Bartholomew's instruction, caseworkers would bill Medicaid for driving clients short distances. Investigate West reports that is not allowed under federal regulations, but Bartholomew says these allegations are not true.
The U.S. Department, whoever can come in, it doesn't mean there's fraud. I'm 100% sure there's no fraud. I'm 100% confident there is no fraudulent behavior happening. Absolutely not. So we stand strong where we are, and so do our partners.
While COBBS can't bill Medicaid, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is investigating both organizations for Medicaid fraud, and the Idaho Attorney General's office confirms they are assisting. Bartholomew believes this will be cleared up, and the allegations are coming from former House guests and employees, some upset over being kicked out or fired. She says this has impacted them financially, and since the articles came out, donors have backed out. Brian, I also reached out to COBBS, but as of right now, I haven't gotten a statement from them.
Okay, so this is the point where you have to say these are just allegations. They're just investigating somebody's claim. No charges have been filed, and we don't know if and when any will be.
That's correct. And I also want to say this is specifically for the Medicaid fraud allegations. Right. So the other ones that are outlined in the article, I haven't got confirmation on if those are going to be investigated at any time. You have talked to a few of these former residents, though, right? I have, yes. Yeah. Well, we'll see what they have to say, and maybe we can dig a little further into this. All right. Thank you very much, Aspen. The pause being put on public money being banned from gender transition care has been expanded just a bit. An Idaho district judge has narrowly expanded it to include the other Idaho inmates after 3 others filed a lawsuit against Idaho's new law. The claim, the law greatly impacts their medical care for a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. District judge previously paused that law, but only for the named plaintiffs in the lawsuit. Pause on the law now extends to all incarcerated persons in custody of IDOC who have a diagnosis of gender dysphoria and who were receiving hormone therapy and whose treatment was being tapered or discontinued as a result of Idaho's new law. The court wants to be clear, though, they are just getting back to the status quo for this group named in this lawsuit and a little bit further. And the ruling they put out last week has no commentary on Idaho law being valid or invalid, as the entire court process will continue. CUNA man is currently in jail after a bomb squad found multiple explosives in his ex-wife's house. Abby Davis has details on that arrest and more in today's 411.
Today, we're learning new details about Tyson Jardine, the 38-year-old police arrested at a campsite in Elmore County late last month. He's charged with illegal possession of explosives. The probable cause affidavit KTVB got today states his ex-wife had recently filed for divorce after a domestic violence incident. She was clearing out Jardine's things when she found materials used to make meth. Deputies found chemicals and beakers, as well as a ballistic vest with 2 hand grenades and a flashbang. A bomb squad then found 4 explosive blasting caps. Jardine was extradited to the Ada County Jail last week and is being held on a $1 million bond. The Payette National Forest closed the Big Bar camping area on the Snake River and Hells Canyon because of the Lime Point fire northwest of McCall. This fire has burned over 25,000 acres and is only 5% contained. A Level 3 evacuation is still in effect for Cuprum, Bear, Wild Horse, and Barber Flats. That means you have to evacuate now. Level 2, Get Set, is issued for people in Ditch Creek and Paradise Flat. They might have to evacuate at any moment. Mill Creek is under Level 1, meaning start packing essentials. There's a community meeting tonight at 7 at the Adams County Recreation Center. Sawtooth National Forest says Point Campground will stay closed because of the Bench Lake fire. It might not reopen this camping season. The fire is now almost 2,600 acres and 90% contained. The Durkee fire burning in eastern Oregon is now over 294,000 acres and is 86% contained. There are still multiple evacuation orders in areas around the fire. Check out the Malheur County and Baker County Sheriff's Office Facebook pages for the latest. We have a couple road closures you should know. Starting today through Friday, August 10th, Warm Springs is closed between Sky Bar Street and Grable. Starting today through Monday, August 19th, Joplin Road is closed between Aspen Street and Chinden Boulevard. Both are for underground utility work. And that's the 411 on the 208. I'm Abby Davis.
A flag, it's a way to honor and to unify. It's a form of identity, an expression to show representation and to convey a message. A Boise woman is using a flag to do all of those things in the name of first responders and military members. But this isn't just for Idahoans. These flags, a symbol of support, are sent out across the country, making several stops along the way. Hunter Funk reports this idea came to this woman while she and her daughter were in need of some support of their own.
Life can be like a flying flag. Sometimes it's calm and quiet, but then there are unexpected winds blowing chaos and unpredictability.
Well, my daughter was diagnosed in 2019 with an aggressive form of leukemia.
Jennifer Barner says her daughter had a 10% chance of survival, but signed cards, a jersey, and helmet kept her daughter going.
She treasured every one of those trinkets, every one of those things.
In the midst of that struggle, more chaos. Their house burned down. But the calm came after unwavering support from first responders. Jennifer, after losing everything, got a job as a Boise County dispatcher. And after everything, wanted to give back in a meaningful way.
I can't do much for them. I can't say thank you enough. So my way of saying thank you was to send flags out and show support for that family.
Jennifer is the founder of United by Heroes. She buys flags for those who died in the line of duty.
You know that you can't bring their son or their daughter back. You know that you can't take away the pain that they're receiving or that they're going through. You can't take that hurt away from them, but you can give them your love. You can give them that compassion and let them know that they're not alone. And there are people that love them and support them and are willing to make sure that their family member their life doesn't go in vain or it's not lost in vain and their memory will continue on.
Jennifer says she reaches out to the departments who lost one of their own. It can be firefighters, police, sheriff deputies, military, EMS, dispatch, and correction officers. Out of her own pocket, she buys a flag, sends it to departments all over the United States with a description of the person who died. After coordinating the handoffs, she meets with a family who lost their loved one, giving the signed flags, any coins, letters, or patches that come along the way.
They're so thankful that someone's willing to take the time to honor their family member.
She says having signed memorabilia helped her daughter, and the reaction from families proves it does the same for them.
One family just wonder why someone from so far away would be willing to take the time to honor their family. And knowing that there's people that would be willing to support them just gave them hope, helped them heal.
Most recently, one death hit close to home after Ada County Sheriff Deputy Tobin Bolter died in the line of duty this year. His flag is currently traveling the state. Idaho police signed it. It's going to Valley County, then headed north.
I know for me it fills my cup, but I know that the families are going through so much more. You know, they've lost a loved one. They're not going to see that family member anymore. And knowing what they went through, or knowing that they were there to protect or serve, or they're giving back to their community and they lost their life doing it. I think this is a way of showing them that there are people that love them and that they're thankful for that family member's sacrifice.
Now, all of this comes out of Jennifer's pocket. She is working on making this become a nonprofit. She's had the flags in Alaska, Hawaii, and across the United States. And she says through this, it's also starting support groups. It's bringing together families that are going through similar situations to be able to talk. And there's also a website. We posted it on our website so you can see where those flags are going and keep track of them.
Okay, so her daughter was diagnosed in 2019, but so shortly after that, she started this organization, or started doing this with these flags.
Right.
How many has she sent out?
So it's been around 60. COVID was the biggest challenge, right? Because she'd started this about 2019-ish, and during that time, restrictions were had, so then people couldn't pass it along. So that was her biggest thing. So 60 were out and about. Some got lost. 20 of those were delivered. She's working on getting those other ones, and then from here, she just wants to expand and keep going. So.
All right, so 60 and getting bigger. All right,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and she's looking for volunteers too.
True. So, and also to get into that nonprofit stage, you can expand a lot of ways.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks, Hunter. She's one of the first 4 women in Idaho to get a pilot's license, but she was also the first woman to be a commercial pilot in the Gem State. And for something she did in 1940, Elaine McCallie was inducted into Idaho's Aviation Hall of Fame back in 1999. She was 81 at the time, and I'm sure there was some thought at the time of, well, we should probably honor this woman while we still can. I mean, she's 81. How could they know Elaine would outlast a lot of people and live another 25 years? We met her for the very first time last year when she turned 105. Sadly, Elaine passed away over the weekend at the age of 106. A woman who filled out a lot of firsts will leave a lasting legacy. How does one fill
nothing much, just
106 years?
Pictures.
Elaine McCallie made the most of hers.
That's me with my friend. We used to fly together quite a bit.
Mostly making her mark, however, in her first 25.
I'd been wanting to fly since I was a child.
As a young girl in Gooding, Elaine took to the skies for the first time in her second year of high school.
It was in an autogyro.
What's that?
Well, it's like an airplane, but with rotor blades on top.
Unconventional, and flight lessons would follow Elaine when she got a job in Boise in 1938.
And my first paycheck, I headed for the airport.
$5 of that weekly paycheck would go toward weekend lessons at Boise's Booth Field. Elaine earned her license within a year.
My mother was my first passenger after I got my private pilot's license. So I took off, and after we got up and kind of circled, she says, "Can't we just turn around and land?" She was hanging on.
Elaine wasn't alone in aviation.
I think there were about 6 or 8 of us there, and we kind of had our own little group.
But she would be solo.
Has commercial pilot's license.
In being Idaho's first woman in April 1940 to get a commercial pilot's license. The first one.
That's what they told me, so I don't know. I guess I did.
Flying paying passengers would fill Elaine's weekend until one weekend in December 1941.
Everything changed from then on.
For America and for Elaine, with her days as a pilot about done.
And then I got married, and during the war, my husband was an instructor pilot then for the Army Air Corps, and we wound up in Missouri.
Elaine wound up flying her last plane shortly before she turned 30. Do you regret that?
Oh, kinda, yeah.
The next several decades were filled with raising 5 kids and spending time with her grandkids. But her thoughts were filled with the memories of sitting in the pilot's seat.
Well, I've had, the desire to do it over all these years. The feeling of freedom and being up there flying around, it's a special feeling. I still dream about it.
Elaine may have had regrets for never piloting another plane, but just because she wasn't the pilot didn't mean Elaine didn't still like to fly. Her friend Skip sent us these pictures when he took Elaine on her birthday flight in 2023. Elaine was the president of the Boise chapter of the Associated Women Pilots, also known as the 99s. She was secretary of the Idaho Pilots Association and helped put on Idaho's first air show in 1940. In 2013, she was presented with the Wright Brothers Master Pilot Award from the Federal Aviation Administration. The gym, where Elaine still drove herself up until last month, said they have been blessed with spending 3 days a week for the last 25 years with Elaine. They gave her this pillow when she turned 106. I believe from surface research that I did over the last 24 hours or so, Last year, we lost 2 Idaho women who were 111 and 108. So that would have made Elaine the oldest as of this weekend. A good friend of Elaine's, Carol, who says she has known Elaine since she was 3 years old and became a second mom to her. She said, well, this weekend, Elaine earned her second set of wings. She will be missed by family and friends.
Well, as you take a look at it, just to update you on the latest in some of these storms that are moving through. They've moved through the Boise area, don't have a lot to the south, not drying up entirely. There's still a chance there. As you go out here toward Mountain Home, there are some heavy storms, as you can see, moving up just north of Mountain Home, right around the area, Glenn's Ferry. Boy, they had a lot of lightning strikes. That's the biggest part of the storm, and it has been that way for quite some time. Here's Twin Falls with a few thunderstorms through the area as well. Now up here towards Sun Valley, be expecting some of those. There's a lot of activity like that is moving your way. Not as much for Cascade as well as McCall, but it's not the fact that you couldn't see a thunderstorm. Lightning, gusty winds, also some periods of heavy rain.
Yeah, believe it or not, Olympics are still going on. And guess what? Over the weekend, the U.S. took the lead when it comes, well, I guess after today we didn't. But we did have the lead yesterday when it comes to gold medals. We still have the overall lead at 78. China, second with 53, but they also have the most gold, as we just said. Took a couple a day. Today, the host country, that'd be France. Third place, they have 46, followed by Great Britain and Australia. Been watching the Olympics this last, week or so? If you have, you probably have noticed a few advertisements by the vice president and the potential Democratic nominee for president, Kamala Harris. And if you've seen those, we've seen a lot of these messages into our newsroom, like this one. We don't want to see Kamala advertisements in Idaho. Start putting Trump ads up. And I'll say to all those people that want to comment on this or send in such messages, the same thing I said to this person. You should probably direct your message to the Trump campaign, because we don't direct who puts the ads up. We just wait for them to bring them to us.